Hello and welcome to Cognitions, Speaking the Unspeakable with JP
and Stacy D.
I'm JP Craddock and I'm here with the one and only Stacy D Love. We are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
And wisdom.
Coming up on the show today, we have our question of the day, which is, what is imposter syndrome? Who is vulnerable to experiencing it, and how does one overcome it?
Wow.
Yes. D, have you heard of this? Is not, let me say this, because I typically cover official diagnoses. This is not an official diagnosis.
Is this
is
like
like
JP,
a syndrome. No, I didn't make this up though.
You
no,
make it up?
I'm making up something on the show today. I'm about to make up something, but I didn't make this up.
That one up? Okay. Because I say those people are very dangerous.
Which people?
The imposter syndrome.
D, I need you to understand this. See, I'm gonna have to break this down. Because although this is not an official diagnosis, I do agree that this is a syndrome. I have no idea who made this up. But I was thinking anybody can make up anything. We're making up something on this show today.
Oh, we are?
Yes,
why you didn't tell me?
I did last week on the show. I said that because King George did not neatly fit into any diagnosis, we are going to create one for him. Now, I did make up something in my latest book that is almost it's done, but it's not like released, but it's done. Analogous processing.
Who?
Analogous processing.
Okay, go ahead on.
This is a therapy where you use analogies to send clinical therapeutic messages to clients who respond faster and better to concrete things to messages that create concrete images in their mind.
Oh, you need to do a training.
It's the use of analogies, metaphors, and similes. And so I call it really analogous processing. So, yeah.
I think you need to do a training on that, JP. You can do it right in my office. We have a training room.
After the book. After the book, I probably should. Yeah. Yes. Because the book will go well with complimenting
$250 per person. An early bird special will be $225. And we will be serving refreshments.
We better be water. Some real good refreshments.
Just water.
At that price. We got to serve a whole meal and dessert.
we only got 10 good years to work hard now.
I'm trying to tell you. So I can't say anything about people who make up things because I created and gave a name to my therapy in the book. But on this show, from this point forward, if we encounter an individual, either a historical individual like King George III or somebody in the present who does not fit into the diagnostic criteria in the diagnostic manual, we are going to create
I'm all for it.
A diagnosis for them.
And put it in our book, the JP and Stacy D dictionary.
We need to come up with our own diagnostic manual.
I think we do.
So, this is going to be fun, and we starting with this one today. But before I get to that, yes, this imposter syndrome, I am getting more and more clients who are coming in, and they are presenting with it. And so, I like it. Whoever came up with it, it is good. Now, some people have added on to it and broke it down into 4 different types, and I'm like, y'all doing too much. Now, another one that we might cover on the show that is not an official diagnosis, but people are diagnosing themselves with it more and more, is gaslighting. Have you heard the term gaslighting?
I have heard the term.
Okay, and so we we need to cover that on the show
I
also.
think so.
I'm not even going to say what it is, but whoever came up with gaslighting, I don't know why they chose that word, but it does happen. So we're going to cover that on the show. We need to start covering some of these unofficial bootleg diagnoses
I agree.
and syndromes that people just be coming up with, okay? Because if they're good,
they're going to
then
eventually be in the book.
That's true. Just like words ended up being added to the dictionary because people use them. And at this point, we got some words in the dictionary that I'm a little like, it's just some ridiculous terms in the dictionary. But if large segments of society are using these words, Webster and them are like, look, we might as well make it official and put it in the dictionary. So we're going to come up with our own book, but we're going to cover that today.
Y'all heard that first.
Right.
We're going to make our own book.
We diagnose. In fact, if you feel like it's something wrong with you and
just give
and
us
your
a call.
therapist is saying that it does not fit into any diagnosis
Just
in the
give us a
DSM,
call.
give us a call. We are going to create a diagnosis especially for you. All right,
Hey.
D, what's your check-in?
Okay, everybody. First, I just want to say to my co-host, happy birthday! Woo!
Thanks, D. Yes, yesterday was my birthday. It was a good day. I always work on my birthday. But yesterday what I did was I worked late. I didn't work until 1 because I wanted to be able to sleep in with my baby. My baby likes to be held in the morning. She sleeps in. She's a diva.
I thought she supposed to go to school on Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
So she still missed school.
Well, yeah. And so I was holding my
calling the people on you.
She's in daycare, like it's daycare.
She needs the socialization.
Yeah, well, there's a whole long story because we ended up switching schools. A whole long story around that. Whole long story. We're not even gonna get into it.
That's because when she has 2 therapists as parents, is any school gonna be
It's
acceptable?
hard, but we have narrowed it down to another one. In the meantime, my sister used to have a daycare with full educational curriculum and everything. And so while we are in between schools, she's going to her TT's daycare. She's coming home. She has her homework every day. Like, we have to go over to work. She got my baby spelling words now, learning to read. Like, my sister's all over it, okay? And our mother had a daycare back in the day. One of numerous businesses that my mama had. And so, yeah, so she's getting the educational piece, but she needs the socialization piece. And so, yeah, we're looking for one. But, yeah, it was a wonderful birthday. Slept in, got up, worked a couple of hours, took a 2-hour lunch break, took my baby to the park and out for ice cream. She had a wonderful time, came back, worked another 2 hours, and was done. And then we went out to eat. Here's my check-in. Did you have another check-in, D? Did you? Okay, here's my check-in. This morning, my baby. Okay, I had to go to the dentist. I came back. Nadine had her dressed.
The dentist again.
Let me tell you, these old teeth are ridiculous.
Okay, I think you just need to go on and get done with them and go on and be grandpa.
I need to go to get... I can't afford them implants because life would be so much
Just don't
simpler.
even do the implant. Just go on and get the dentures. And
Just
go. If you want to take them back on. I was out at Yaya's, which was a $75 plate on Mother's Day. And this man
I've
was sitting.
never heard of Yaya's.
It's really good. They have very good brunch. I like their brunch.
Is it soul food?
No.
No.
But it's good.
Okay.
It's good. And this man was sitting catty corners from me. And him and his wife and his friend and his wife, I guess they were married. He was
gumming.
I was like,
but the gums get strong after a while.
Do they?
Oh, as strong as teeth. That's why old people who don't wear their teeth, they are able to eat meat. I have had old family members that could eat steak with their gums.
Well, they didn't have to worry about the steak getting between their teeth, did they?
They did not. Me, of course, once again, flossing, popped out part of a filling, had to go, da 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 da. And so this is what happened. I get home and Nadine says, okay, she's dressed, but you're going to have to comb her hair so that you can, take
That
it to
was a
TT's.
3-hour.
It takes a minute. And so my baby says, Daddy, I want Mariah Carey. So Nadine yells from her office, okay, that means she wants her hair down. Cool. Now I'm thinking, okay, my baby wants her hair down, but because she be real busy. My sister is like, there's study time and play time and this, and it's a lot. So let's contain it a little bit. So I pulled this back into a ponytail, and all of this was down. So I'm like, okay, your hair is down. You're Mariah Carey.
Halfway. Mm-hmm.
My baby looks in the mirror and says, that's Janet Jackson. I want Mariah Carey.
So she recognizes her hairstyles by your face. Okay, what's Patty's? They all your favorite.
I have no idea. I was stunned. So I said to her, baby, your hair is down. She says, Daddy, that's Janet. I want Mariah Carey. So she takes off running. She decides she gonna have a fit. I'm like, oh my God, she's gone mad. She is running around screaming about Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey. And I was like, why is this a situation? So I chase her down and catch her, and I had to check her real fast. Okay.
Okay. Tell me how you checked her, please. I want to hear it.
Well, I told her that you don't run like that. You don't run and kick and do all these things. I'm going to put you in your crib, right? Which for her, that's time out, right? Because she hates the crib. She never slept in it. So I'm going to put you in your crib if you don't. And she, she was all upset and everything. And so she calms down, and we practiced how to appropriately ask for what she was wanting.
Good.
And then, of course, I end up taking her hair down. But here's the thing. I constantly analyze human behavior. I have to know why people act how they act. And so in the car, she passes out asleep. In the car, I'm trying to figure out, how did she conclude that was Janet Jackson? Why couldn't that have been Mariah Carey? And I thought about it. I've never seen Mariah in any form of a ponytail, so she kind of had a good point there. And then I realized on Janet's current tour, what is Janet rocking?
Ponytail.
A ponytail. And she has seen that show. So for her, any form of a ponytail, she's like, that's Janet Jackson. I don't want Janet Jackson. If I wanted Janet Jackson, I would have said Janet Jackson. And she has sometimes. She specifically asked for Mariah Carey, which means hair all the way down and flowing.
I just can't even do this.
So she kind of was right.
I just can't do this right now. Can we change the subject?
I had to take my baby's hair down. And my sister was like, oh, her hair looks pretty. Look at her hair. It looks good. I said, we had a battle over that today.
And she won.
But that hair going to be all over the place by the end of the day. In fact, most likely when my wife goes to pick her up, it's going to be up in a bunch of ponytail. Because, my sister, she
don't play.
She go way out. So, yeah. I want Mariah Carey. All right, so that's my check-in.
That was really funny.
Yeah,
but I just want to say, because we have talked on the show quite a few times about the discipline methods,
modern parenting, old school parenting.
Would that have worked with the boys?
With the boys,
I think they would have got
Jose had long hair.
A lot more
what
trouble.
Do you mean?
Like, I think they would have gotten a lot more trouble if they had a whole.
Oh, because they was older.
Yeah.
Oh, when she get older. Oh, she's not gonna be having fits when she gets older.
Yes, she is.
Mm-mm.
What are you gonna do at 65?
Don't nobody play that mess.
What are you gonna do at 65?
Don't nobody play that mess. Will she be grown on her own? So, well, no, she won't.
Exactly. What are you gonna do? Baby,
By
stop
then,
doing that.
by then we ain't gonna be having these problems. She is at an age where she can get away with a little bit of that. Our boys, when they would try to clown, and we were, as foster parents, we had the highest level of care. Okay, for like we had kids that nobody else would allow to drive down their street, let alone move into their house. Okay, we didn't have that problem. We didn't have that problem. We know how to go mad just like they do.
But baby, she gets a pass.
My baby got a pass. She calmed down and she had little tears in her eyes, and
You did not respect her point of view.
no, I literally did not know what the heck she was talking about.
Nadine told you it's flowing, but you didn't want to respect her point of view. You let her have a voice, and then you was like, "The hell with your voice! I'm gonna do what I want to do."
But see, here's the thing. Women, y'all understand these hairs. I thought her hair was down. That was a version of down to me.
You was trying to meet her in the middle. Nadine told you down.
She want her hair down.
She want her hair down, but you're gonna do what you want to do, and you didn't respect her point of view. You didn't want to respect her voice.
I clearly, I guess I didn't know what I was doing. More like it. But
You got here to make your excuses.
her hair's down.
Her hair is down.
Her hair is down. Okay, let's get to mental health and illness in the news. We got two good stories, okay?
Ooh.
The first one, we're going to go ahead and quickly, this is the diagnosis I came up with. You let me know if you agree. What we talked about when it came to King George, the wonderful King George, okay? Love King George.
You know, I watched that again.
You watched the whole,
Yeah,
all of
I
them?
had to because
I'm going to, but I couldn't. I can't do it yet.
I thought I seen some autism too, like when he was writing on the. He was so obsessed. I don't know. Okay.
He was gone at that point. He was literally having interactions with the
Venus.
stars and
Just
Venus,
Venus.
and
It was just
like
Venus.
he was gone. Okay, but what'd you come up with in watching it again? Since we creating the diagnosis, did you create a diagnosis?
Hell no! I had like 10 of them on a paper.
Okay, which one stood out the most? See, you
Anxiety was the biggest one. He had a lot of anxiety.
Yes, but we gotta break it down, D. We gotta break it down.
Okay, come on. Okay, because y'all know this is super therapist.
Okay, so this is what I came up with.
Let me see what you came up
And
with.
you let me know if you agree or disagree. We're gonna start with what is covered in the DSM. Adjustment disorder with anxiety.
Okay.
But now, because the DSM failed to cover this level of severe anxiety disorder,
Did y'all hear that? DSM
The
providers, y'all failed.
all 100 and something of those psychiatrists failed to be thorough enough.
Needed
So
to
we're gonna
have a
help them.
social worker on there.
And there aren't any. There aren't. Like, I looked, and
You know he would.
I did not see any. The DSM is all psychiatrists, a few psychologists. I might have seen one or two clinical social workers, but like it's all psychiatrists. Okay, mind you, we the ones that do all the therapy though. They don't do therapy.
They don't do nothing.
They
Just give
prescribe
a name
meds,
and
right?
Give them meds.
Okay, so adjustment disorder with anxiety, severe with psychotic features, because when his anxiety would get to that level, he's gone. Okay. Then what a therapist would do is break it down to either single episode or recurrent. And in his case, it would be recurrent. And then break it down one step further, with or without full inter-episode recovery. Is he psychotic permanently, or does he have episodes where there are no symptoms? And because, according to the history books, he went 9 years without an episode.
I don't believe that.
It's in the history books. This ain't covered on the show.
No,
I had to go beyond the
somebody
show.
else
We had to
said.
get legitimate. And so what he would have is adjustment disorder with anxiety, severe with psychotic features, recurrent with full inter-episode recovery. Because in the DSM, when they use inter-episode recovery, it speaks to the severity of a diagnosis or of psychosis. Like, okay, if a person has a period of time where they have no symptoms, that of course is much less severe than a person who is just experiencing symptoms every day, 365 days a year for the rest of their lives. He was able to function and rule until he was 71 years old. And those last 10 years, I think the history books got that right. It was dementia. That's why there was no inter-episode recovery anymore. He had dementia. And they talked about him literally walking around his palace just demented, out of it.
And it was really bad probably after Charlotte died. What's her name? Charlotte? Yeah.
Yes.
Got-
Well, and you know,
probably
with the
got worse.
dementia, if it was dementia of the Alzheimer's type, it's quite possible that after a while he didn't remember who he
she
was or
was,
who
who
she
he
was.
was.
He
The kids, all 15 of them, nothing.
nothing. Okay, so D, what do you think? Did I cover
I think you hit it on the
every?
head.
Okay, now we need more people to diagnose. To scratch that, because we diagnose people all the time. We need we need more
I still
opportunities
see some autism.
to create our own diagnoses. When it comes to autism, it could have been, you're maybe thinking about Asperger's, which is the social
more of the
deficits.
Asperger's of it,
If he had those social deficits, but did he really have social deficits? Because according to the history books said that he actually had a wonderful personality and was very charismatic. The history books who paint him as a tyrant are history books that are given the American perspective, because America was trying to fight for their freedom from Britain and wanted their independence. And so they was like, he's a tyrant, and that's why we
But he was
wanted
doing
to-
what he was supposed to have been doing.
what he was doing what he's supposed to be doing. Right. And they had outlawed slavery, and the American colonies was
They wasn't
still
trying to
doing
have
it.
that.
And so I really think that another reason why they wanted their independence is because they were thinking, well, if these fools got rid of slavery and King George signed the law outlawing slavery in Great Britain, I think that the colonists were like, these fools might try to make us set our slaves free, and we ain't never gonna do it.
So they say it.
So they said. And so they painted this picture of him as being this tyrant and this madman. Okay, well, he was mentally ill, but he wasn't a tyrant. They said he actually had a really good personality. So I'm not sure about the autism, D. You got to go deep into the research, D. You got to go into the history books.
Yes, we
You got to
do.
go into the history books, okay?
Like you did. That's super therapist, you guys.
And I hated history as a kid. I hated history as a kid.
I
Okay.
can't tell the way you researching everything.
I do, because I don't want to look like a fool. Okay, check this out. Now, I know this is going to sound crazy, what I'm about to say, but let me set the stage for this next piece of mental health and illness.
Okay, yeah, it's a little crazy, so get ready.
Well, the person, okay. Let me say this. My heart goes out to people who are suffering with mental illness, kind of like the
Most
King
definitely.
George thing. Like, I cannot help it. Like, I embrace people who are suffering like that, okay? This is the reason why with my clients, I have such wonderful relationships with my adult clients, my kid clients. Like, I love my people. I watched a documentary on Justin Bieber. Now, let me say this, because I know everybody thinks that Justin Bieber is an a-hole. He's horrible. He's this, he's that, and he was high, and he was drunk, and he was doing this, and he was getting arrested. But let me say this. First, I watched his roast. You know, the Comedy Central roast. And they roasted him, and it was rough. Because those rough. Have you ever seen one of those?
I don't watch TV like that.
Oh, okay. They're raw, okay? Like, there should be no kids present. Even Martha Stewart is raw on these roasts. Mr. Walker, have you ever seen the Comedy Central roast? No. When they roast famous people?
What about you, Mr. Professor?
Professor, y'all have okay, it's brutal. And so it was brutal. The meanest things come out during these. And at the end of it, when he got up, and because the person, it's for charity, and so when the person who's being roasted at the end, they get up and they get to speak and address this whole panel of people who have dogged them for the whole 2 hours, right? And what I liked about his is he had good jokes, but he basically said, I lived a reckless life. I was young. I lived a reckless life. I did bad things. I made horrible mistakes, and I accept all of that. And all I can ask is that I be given a chance to show that I can do better. I can be better. Like he says all this. Sounds like, ooh, that was mature. Okay. He might be through getting arrested and ended up on the news. Well, he has not been arrested or on the news anymore. And so when I was looking and stumbled across this documentary, I had to watch it. D, let me tell you.
Where do you get so much time to watch TV? I'm just asking.
I'm up at, I'm in the gym till 3 a.m. Yes, D. You know what I'm doing?
What?
Neuroplasticity. I'm constantly.
You guys remember that now?
You all remember? You got to feed your brain in order to fight dementia off. Okay. In order to keep your brain sharp, you have to constantly bring in new my biggest gift for my birthday. This is so nerdy and geeky. My biggest gift for my birthday, Nadine, I asked her for it, is 37 hours CEUs on neuroscience training. Because I love the brain. I love the brain, and I love all that neuroscience, and I'm just going to take all that in. Y'all are not going to catch me with Alzheimer's. Because I said that, y'all probably will. But let me tell you, I'm going to go down fighting. Okay. And so I was watching it. And this Justin Bieber is actually this very sensitive, emotional, very affectionate, very expressive person. Here's what happened. During the time that he was always in the news and everything, it was, of course, because he was high. Well, he started getting high when he was 12 or 13 years old. But here's the thing.
When did he become a superstar?
At that age.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because he was a music. I think Usher put him out there really young. Because he's a real musician. He plays piano. He plays the guitar. He plays the drums. He do a lot. Okay. Well, it turns out from watching the documentary, he was self-medicating. Guess what he was self-medicating? He has something in common with King George III. Anxiety.
You know what?
Severe anxiety.
Here's something else I found out.
What'd you find out?
And Andre 2000.
Anxiety disorder.
Oh my God. He says it's off the roof. That's why he doesn't do anything no more. He's tired of dealing with it, because after he did a performance, it would just walk him out for a month. So if he would have back-to-back dates, he just couldn't function for months at a time.
Justin Bieber described
Mm-hmm.
a lot of, he had actually left the music business for a little while. He's just now coming back. He has been diagnosed with severe anxiety, depression, possibly manic episodes. Okay. He's been on at least, I heard them mention antidepressants. It was so much in this documentary, I couldn't even keep up with all of it. Okay. And possibly bipolar meds. Now, here's the thing. He has a brain doctor who works with him, and then he has a therapist who works with him, a behavioral analyst or something. And what the brain doctor did was took a look at his brain and discovered that he did not have bipolar disorder. He was misdiagnosed. He has Lyme's disease. And the symptoms of that will mimic the mood disorders, the depression and the mania, and all of that is a part of that. Okay. And so he talked about the history of his onset of the substance abuse. He was self-medicating the anxiety because he started with marijuana. Marijuana is a depressant. His anxiety was through the roof. So, of course, he immediately became addicted to it. He ended up trying pills and this and that. He was so drug addicted that his crew, his staff, was having to come in and check on him at night to see if he was still alive. Wow. To see if, like, he still had a pulse. That's how bad it was. Okay. And so even during the documentary, he would become incapacitated with his anxiety. They showed him his latest music video. He was totally ready. He had met with the choreographer. They had the dance steps down. He showed up. He's fully dressed, everything. He shows up at the video shoot. Of course, a video shoot is going to have a lot of people there. It's all kind of people doing cameras, dancers, this person, that person. He couldn't do it. He was totally incapacitated. He ended up laying on the floor, almost in the fetal position across the room. They had to clear the place out. He couldn't work. He sometimes has days where he cannot work. He talked about, for him, oftentimes the struggle is to even get out of the bed in the morning. Okay. And so now we're getting into some depression. Okay. But yeah, it's severe anxiety. He's able to perform, though. He said he's able to perform because when he gets on stage, for him, it's a different part of the brain. And he doesn't have the anxiety when he's actually performing. But if he's just having a conversation, if he's just doing an interview, he sometimes just shuts down because the anxiety gets high. He feels like he's being judged, and his brain tells him to do what people with anxiety typically do, which is run away, escape. I'm telling you, I was feeling so bad for him. Like, and yeah, he's done ridiculous things. He's racing on the streets, driving under the influence. Like, he's done ridiculous things, but like, oftentimes there is a mental health story underlying people's reckless behaviors.
Oh, most definitely.
And so you know that, D, but I think society in general does not really consider that. They look at people's behavior. They don't care. On the surface level, they don't care, and they're like, this is a bad person. But for all we know, this is a person who is struggling with severe mental illness, and they're just trying to get a hold of it. They're trying to function. And so his depression, as I said, reaches levels where, he can't get out of the bed, which is hypersomnia, okay? Symptom of depression, decreased energy, decreased motivation. All these are symptoms of depression. And so he's battling both the symptoms of depression and the anxiety. Now listen to this. He uses a hyperbaric chamber.
That's what Janet Jackson.
Michael Jackson. Remember, everybody thought that Michael Jackson was crazy because he was getting inside the hyperbaric chamber. Well, according to Justin Bieber and his people, okay, his brain doctor, his therapist, when you are in the chamber taking in pure oxygen, it decreases anxiety.
Wow, really?
So he has multiple of these things, at least two of them. He's got one at the recording studio. He's got portable ones. Like, he's got one at the studio. He's got one at his house. And even during the documentary, he would, like, it seemed frequent that he would have to
Take a
go
break.
and get inside this thing. The portable ones are like a big old plastic. You get zipped up in it, right? It's not that one that Michael had. Okay, it's, you know, more homemade. Not homemade, but, you know, you zip them up in it, and he would have to get in that. Well, I did some research, and he's right. They said that it actually does, among other things, these things help with all sorts of stuff, like healing
Really?
from physical illnesses.
Yeah, most definitely.
But
Burn victims,
yes,
amputations. If you have
Yes.
an infectious, it
Yes.
does a lot. The oxygen.
it's pure oxygen. And so after I researched it and I thought about it, I said, well, that makes sense, because when people are experiencing high anxiety and they're about to have a panic attack, what do we have them do? We have them do breathing exercises.
And if the ambulance come and get you, they're putting
they put
mask
oxygen
over
on to calm your
you
butt
down.
And so when a person is doing breathing exercises to slow down their, you know, respiratory functioning, to keep from hyperventilating, to prevent a panic attack, it makes sense that this hyperbaric chamber would work. It just works a lot faster and a lot more effectively, because what we're breathing in right now is not the pure oxygen that he's got
I'm
coming.
breathing in the professor stuff.
Is the professor smelling bad right now, Professor? Did you shower this morning? Why is the D?
Because he's the closest one to me.
Professor,
That's what he said.
Professor, quit messing with the Professor D. The professor's like, I just got out the tub. Somebody, the D's breathing in somebody.
I'm bringing somebody.
It is not pure oxygen up in this thing.
No, it's not.
D, listen to this. I think that I need you to try out a hyperbaric chamber.
Really?
Yes, because I'm curious to see if you will notice the effects of it.
We need to find out how much it is, and if I can put it on my taxes.
I bet there's a place where you can just pay a fee and get in one.
Probably is.
People ain't buying those things.
Because they sure have the IV infusion to make you get energy, and those work. Infusions, I get one like twice a month.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about?
I go to an IV place, and they hook me up with
What are
IV,
they putting in you?
vitamins and stuff.
You are making this up. You are making this up, D.
Not. Because I don't
my
sleep,
God,
so I'll be
you
so
are such
tired.
a diva. What in the world are you doing?
I'm getting my vitamins. I'm getting all different types of
Infused?
stuff. Yes, I sit in a nice reclining chair, and they have me hooked up to an IV. And
You be doing so much.
it helps with my skin. Look at my skin.
I need my wife to be doing that. Where is that done at?
They just infusion. I go to Broadcliff.
Does
Down
it
Street.
increase your energy?
Yes. And
Nadine
also,
Marie.
check it out. And also, like if you're sick, like sometimes I get sick and my allergies and stuff is messing with me, and just like I just can't get over this little bug, because mind you, I'm in the community all day, every day, and I go there and they're shooting me up with the IV for an hour, and I'm feeling like, woo, let's do this.
Oh my goodness.
Look it up. It's
Listen.
infusion clinics.
And listen, one of our viewers has said she is not making it up. They do that a lot in Vegas.
Yes.
What?
I do it here in Kansas City. Oh, my skin is so good. Look at my skin.
Our VIV, our very important viewer, Leslie,
He just looked it up. There it is.
okay, so
I do it twice a month.
wherever you go, they probably have a hyperbaric chamber.
No, they don't have any of that.
Can
But
you
I will ask
them?
I will ask.
We'll try it out
They
together.
know-
I'll try it out with
Yeah.
you.
I mean, like I said,
If
I
Michael
feel
Jackson can
good.
get in one, I can too.
That's right. I mean, with the IV, I feel good. It's getting time now. See, I'm congested.
I can't believe
I got next Friday. Hey, I don't like going to the doctor, you guys. I just feel like, my grandmother died at 47. My mom died at 55. So I do whatever I need to do to stay healthy.
You like these celebrities.
Hell, I thought you
Yes,
know
and yeah, Nadine said, "Hook me up. I'm tired right now."
My wife ain't lying. She's tired right now.
Because sometimes we just do not get all the vitamins that we need, especially after we get older. This is what the doctor told me.
I've been tired since 1987. Since I moved out of my mama's house, I've been tired. D,
I'm not going.
We all
there.
going. Me
Okay.
and my wife are going.
We sit up in there and have a whole party because you know they know me.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm VIP.
Can we
when I
find a
walk up in there.
hyperbaric chamber, please?
Okay, I'm gonna look for a hyperbaric.
Because in watching this documentary, I did notice that when Justin Bieber's anxiety would start to spike, he came out of that thing better.
Well, I know what I did when I started having anxiety. I put my husband out. That works also, everyone. Kick him out.
Because he was a stressor.
He was a stressor.
And listen, although we having fun, what the D is saying is correct. When it comes to situational anxiety that is triggered by a situation or a food.
Fool. Fool.
You can take meds to alleviate the symptoms, but the goal is to actually eliminate the problem.
The meds make you gain weight, lose hair, lose your sex drive.
The anti-anxiety meds are highly addictive.
And they're addictive.
Okay, we talking Valium,
Yes.
Xanax. You'll be high for the rest of your life.
Just get rid of the situation. And plus, I don't like taking meds. I take nothing. No cholesterol, no high blood pressure, no nothing.
We know you ain't taking them ADHD meds for sure.
Hell no. Only when I need to. Only when I need to. Only thing I take is my asthma medicine because you will die. You will die from asthma.
You sure will.
Because you will not be able to breathe. So, yes, that's the only thing I take.
You don't even carry your EpiPen for your allergies.
No, I don't. Because I did, and I did not like, so now I'm just
And
extra,
I almost
extra
gave
better.
you peanuts at a friend of ours'
I'm not
house.
allergic to peanuts.
Why couldn't you eat that food?
You had walnuts on it. Or pecans. Not peanuts. And guys allergic
Wait a
to
minute, hold it.
peanuts. I'm not allergic to peanuts.
I thought if a person had nut allergy, it's all nuts.
No, it's totally two different things. That's why I say a peanut allergy. Peanuts is a loom. Look it up, researcher.
Yeah, you're allergic to tree nuts.
Yes.
What?
Yes. Tree nuts. I can't. Anything that's on a tree. But a peanut is a loom. I'm not allergic to peanuts.
I did not know that
There's
people
a
with nut
difference.
allergies
It's
can
a
have
difference.
some
No,
nuts.
no. I do not have a peanut allergy. I have a nut allergy. That's why I have 4 kids.
What? I don't understand. Ooh, you nasty. Oh my Lord, we gonna get censored again.
That's so real bad.
Dang. Oh my Lord.
Got y'all going up here now. But
I can't take it. I can't take it. Sometimes, and you stunned me with that. I just, for a second, I'm just like, what did she just say? Oh, D. Between you and the studio lights, I am about to pass out. Okay, so, when I am making my desserts, tell me I can put pecans.
no, peanuts.
What can you have, D?
Peanuts.
That's all you can have.
That's all. That's all.
There are no good desserts made with peanuts.
I'm not. Snickers.
Peanuts are useless outside
But
of a
I can't
Snicker
miss
bar.
nothing that I have never had. Like I can't eat fish or seafood or any of that. That don't bother me now. I can't. If I've never had it, I can't.
But you
miss it.
have such an aversion to taking meds. You don't even have your EpiPen, which is a problem.
Because I'm extra careful.
No.
If I go any place, I'm gonna ask because I had got that. And I didn't like the feeling that it made me feel. Yeah, I felt like I was about to die, but it went. And then I literally have a certain amount of time to get to a hospital, or I am gonna die. My heart gonna bust.
You really need to carry that EpiPen, D. This is ridiculous what you're saying.
But that's how it is in my mind.
But these restaurants, a lot of times, they do not tell you. We went out to eat last night and ended up with some mess. None of what we ordered came back right. None of it. No, I couldn't even eat my food.
Certain restaurants I just won't eat at. Like, I will not go to Red Lobster and eat, even though they do have chicken. And I don't eat nothing at Red Lobsters.
Because the seafood juice be done landed on the chicken.
I don't go to Papa Do's. I don't do Papa Do's.
Mr. Walker said, "Oh my goodness."
If it's an explicit,
we're frozen.
Yeah, keep going. We're professionals. Ooh, look how I look. Look at you. Look at you.
Because you say things that I'm just like, what in the world? That's my permanent look.
Like,
with the DB dropping bombs, this go get us censored. Okay, let's get to our question of the day. What is imposter syndrome?
We have 11 minutes.
Who is vulnerable to experiencing it, and how does one overcome it? Imposter syndrome is when a person has reached a certain level of success that even they cannot believe. And they feel like this is too good to be true. And a part of them feels like they're a fraud. Like, this cannot possibly be my life. Not that they don't deserve it, but they just can't believe that it is happening, because how could something this good happen to me? How could I have accomplished this? And so they end up experiencing a lot of anxiety, basically fear that, okay, I'm going to lose everything.
One wrong thing, you're going to lose it all.
If I do one thing, I'm going to lose it all. And so I'll oftentimes get clients in who have like started a business and it blew up. And it blew up so fast that they're like, imposter syndrome sets in. And so they are in this position where the business is blown up. They are about to sign papers on a $400,000 or $500,000 home.
$2 million.
They are, and you know, when your lifestyle begins to match your income, that can increase the pressure, because if everything is destined to fail, now you have bought all this expensive stuff that you no longer have the money to afford. And so there's a fear. And as they acquire more things, expensive cars, expensive homes, the anxiety increases and increases and increases. And it's rooted in imposter syndrome, feeling like this can't be my life.
This is not me.
And so here are the people who are vulnerable to experiencing it. Any person who has had to overcome obstacles to get to where they are, whether the obstacle is race, you know, being black in America, because a lot of my clients who experience this are African American. People who have to overcome like a special education diagnosis. People who have a history of criminality, and then they may have done some time and they got out and they're living a legal life, and they're making money legally, and they're like, my luck is never good enough for me to sustain this. I cannot sustain this life. And so any person who has to overcome obstacles and they end up successful is vulnerable to imposter syndrome. How do you get over it? How do you overcome it? Well, this is what you do. This is what I tell my clients to do. You tell me what you would suggest to people, D. But what I tell my people is, listen, this is not a fantasy. This is your life. Because they think they're going to wake up one day and be like, it was all a dream. It was all a dream.
Watch too much TV.
I knew it didn't happen for real. No, you're not going to wake up and everything is gone. This is real. This is your life. And with any other anxiety, you just hang in there and keep doing what you have been doing that got you to this point. after a while, you'll settle into it and it will begin to feel more normal and more natural. But you have to hang in there and just continue to do. If you have figured out keys to success, just keep doing them.
You figured the keys out. That was the biggest part of it right there.
That was the biggest part. Do not allow yourself to become so consumed with anxiety
about the failure part.
That self-fulfilling prophecy takes place, because people begin to make missteps because they're so determined that they're going to fail. And because, explain, D.
Because of that, because they're too cautious or they're overthinking it, and then you don't really messed up.
And they end up messing up because they were overly cautious and insecure with their self and with their success. Yes. And they begin to second guess all their decisions.
That's what the problem is.
And that's when the chips come falling down. And then the chips come falling down. They're like, I knew it.
No,
it's like,
dummy, you did it.
You created it. It wasn't destiny.
No,
God did not decide that you don't deserve to be successful. It wasn't fate. Like, you created
it. Really wasn't. Yeah.
And that's the part that's hard for them to grasp. And so fortunately, I usually get them in therapy before they have sabotaged it all.
Okay.
And help them to manage the anxiety and to settle in with it. And I was thinking about this because I don't think I ever experienced imposter syndrome, but in becoming a therapist in my 20s, I do remember being nervous about
going out on your own.
Before then,
I know we had the conversation. You was a little
nervous about going into private practice, but I was also nervous. Yeah, that was natural. I was nervous because we worked at a mental health center where I had a caseload of 83 clients. When you have 83 clients, and this is community mental health, where you're dealing with depression, anxiety, the psychotic disorders, sex offenders, victims of sexual abuse, you literally see everything that comes in the door.
Everything.
And you got 83 people's lives depending on you. And here I was in my 20s. I remember having that anxiety about it. And what ended up happening is I just told myself, just keep doing what you're doing, work to steadily improve, because that's always been my goal is, okay, I need to steadily improve. I don't want to get so comfortable.
Plus your prayer that you say every day.
Pray for guidance. Yes, which is the reason why I do that. I have always done that. Pray for guidance. Work on gaining more knowledge, because and therapy is ever changing. There's always new therapies and new this, and you got to stay on top of your game. And so this, all the researching and everything I do, because I hated research. I hated history as a kid. I really didn't like any classes but English, to be totally honest. Like, I hated math, I hated history, I hated science, but
science too.
I hated science. Yeah. School wasn't really a whole lot of fun as I think about it.
We did have fun.
Not with them classes, though.
No.
Oh, we had fun, but it had nothing to do with science. And so for me, I managed the anxiety by working hard to become the best therapist I could and striving to continue to stay on top of my game. And doing it enough to become more comfortable with it. Like, I remember my first group therapy session and how anxious I was because I had only been doing individual and family therapy. But I knew I had to go in that room with all them sex offenders, which that's a rough population to be doing your first group sessions with. And I just had to have faith as I continued to do it that the anxiety would decrease and decrease and decrease. And so for those people struggling with imposter syndrome, whatever your profession is, you have reached a level of success because you know what you are doing.
Correct.
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Because one of the things I notice about you, Stacy D, is you don't seem to be apprehensive to like jump out there and do something new.
It's been instilled
Start a
in
new business,
it's
do
just
this,
been
take
instilled
on a
in
new
me.
job.
Because my dad told me you got to have several irons in the fire in case one gets cold. Don't worry about it because you got a whole nother one up in there.
Right.
And so has been always my mindset, and also with my children.
Right. And so you do not have anxiety about whether or not the D is going to be successful.
I got 4 or 5 other businesses. If one goes dead, don't worry about it. I got another one.
Well, and you have gotten acclimated. You've gotten used to being successful.
And I also live
so
within
you don't
my
feel
means.
like an imposter. You don't feel like I'm a fraud. This ain't my life. Like, this is not real. It's all going to come crashing
JP,
down.
once again, you and I was raised like we thought we were rich.
Right. True. And that's why I say people who have to overcome, like people who overcome severe poverty, and they felt that poverty,
felt it.
They experience, they're at great risk of experiencing imposter syndrome. And so this is becoming more and more common. And I'm noticing that the population experiencing is like younger people.
Really?
Like, yeah, because older people have kind of gotten used to making money.
Right. I was just having a conversation today.
Yeah, they like,
exactly.
I've been making money. But a younger person who's been poor and they graduate from college, they've been a broke college student, they graduate from college, they get that first job, and then they start being successful and they making all this money, and then it's like, oh crap, there's pressure on the job. They pressure me. They're expecting me to I did great on this project, and they're expecting me to do great on the next one and great on the next one. It's kind of like a singer who puts out their first CD and sell 10 million copies, and then there's all that pressure. They end up one-hit wonders a lot of time because the pressure.
And they taking too long to let another one come out.
And that they crack under the pressure.
And they fade.
Yes.
And a lot of them, oh my God, and a lot of them do.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them do.
Right. And so this is a real thing. Like, this whole imposter syndrome is a real thing. And I wonder if
this was good, JP.
It's kind of interesting. Mm-hmm. And in thinking about the Justin Bieber documentary, I wonder if he has a little bit of imposter syndrome. If he cracks or freezes sometimes, if he becomes frozen and incapacitated with anxiety, because on some level he feels like, how is this real? How did I get here?
That's what Andre 3000 said. And he said after his mom died and after Erykah Badu broke his heart, it was over. It was just over.
Too much.
It was too much.
Because he has not put anything out in.
And he was a very good.
Right.
He was very good in his craft.
He just needs therapy, though.
I know. He says he's going through it now.
Therapy. Mm-hmm. Okay. He needs to do it like Justin Bieber, because his therapist be with him like in the background.
Just like his
case he had to
just
step
like his
in.
Hairdresser.
His hairdresser? Because they all got their hairdresser with them.
Right.
All the celebrities travel with their hairdresser. Hello, start traveling with your therapist.
Start traveling with your therapist. That's the one going to keep your mind right. Forget about your fade. What about your mind?
You need so many celebrities should travel with a therapist. For real. Like, I'm joking, but I'm also dead serious.
Yeah, real serious.
Especially those who are struggling with anxiety or depression. You need to have your therapist in the dressing room waiting.
Period.
And pay them their whole yearly salary so you they only client.
Plus, it need to be sitting on the sideline, so in case something happens, they could be like,
all of that. And in the documentary, that's what Justin Bieber's therapist did. He came that video shoot where he was incapacitated. He was there, so he came from backstage wherever he was, and it showed them sitting down and him talking to him and just pulling him together.
Okay, so if it's some sexy.
Oh, here we go.
About 50-year-old actors. I know we about to wrap it up. And you need a therapist on your side.
The D. Here we go.
Call me.
Here we
I'll be
go.
right there with you.
Oh my goodness. Let me tell you. I need for Janet to need a little bit of therapy. Like I just need to be backstage waiting on Janet to have a quick session periodically.
No, we got you.
It's okay, Jay.
Right when she
It's
changing her
all
clothes.
It's all
I
right.
got
Nadine might not be okay with that.
Nadine's not gonna care because she's not gonna have to work anymore. Go ahead on,
She
do
sure
what
ain't.
you do. Do what you do.
Okay, anybody who knows Janet, ask her, do she need a therapist out there? Okay, because
Exactly.
I need to be backstage. Okay, or Patty, but Patty ain't playing that game. She what therapy gone? You better go on somewhere.
Better hit you upside the head with her shoe.
Right. All right, that's our show for today. Thank you all for joining us, and remember, worry about nothing
And pray about everything.
Thank you, and God bless.
Bye bye now.